From legends defying the limits of life and death to spiritual journeys that leave us in awe, monks have captivated the world for centuries. What drives these extraordinary individuals to push their bodies and minds beyond what we consider humanly possible? Join us as we explore the mysterious monks of the world and uncover their incredible stories. The monk living under snow. High up on Mount Cache, a snow-covered peak that pierces the sky, life seems impossible. The snow never melts, blanketing the land in a cold, white silence. This is where a monk lives, alone, yet deeply connected to something greater than himself. Each morning, the monk begins his day by bathing in snow. He scoops it with his hands, rubbing it over his body until it melts, leaving his skin cold but refreshed. There is no fire to warm him, no shelter to protect him from the biting chill. His only source of water is the icicles he gathers. He holds them in his hands until they melt into tiny streams, sipping slowly. Food is a luxury he has abandoned. His strength comes from something far beyond the physical. The monk spends most of his day in meditation, chanting sacred mantras. The vibrations of these words warm his soul, even if his body remains in the freezing air. One of his key practices is unclutching, a state of letting go of all thoughts, desires, and fears. It's not about resisting or fighting them, but simply stepping away, like watching snowflakes drift down without trying to catch them. For the monk, Mount Cache is more than a harsh wilderness. It is a sacred space where he seeks the divine presence of Shiva, the cosmic destroyer and transformer. He believes that by surrendering completely, giving up comfort, attachment, and even his own ego, he can merge with this divine energy. The biting cold, the hunger, and the solitude are not challenges to him, but doorways to a deeper, infinite truth. Monk climbing steep slope, a viral video has captured the attention of millions. A monk scaling a sheer steep mountain barefoot, without a harness or any climbing gear. Her movements are calm and deliberate, as if the rugged cliff face were no more challenging than a set of stairs. What makes the monk's climb look so effortless? The monk's remarkable feat is not just physical, it's a testament to years of mental and spiritual training. Through yoga, he has developed incredible flexibility and strength. Meditation sharpens his focus, allowing him to be completely present, undistracted by fear or doubt. Breath control plays a key role, helping him regulate his heartbeat and remain calm, even in the face of danger. While others might panic or hesitate on such a climb, he is fully connected to his body in the mountain, moving with grace and confidence. The monk's climb is a result of years of practice, patience, and inner mastery. He reminds us that our potential is far greater than we realize. By training our minds to focus and our bodies to respond, we can overcome fears and achieve what once seemed impossible. The climb is not just about reaching the top. It's a lesson in trusting yourself and breaking the limits you thought existed. Watching the monk scale the mountain is more than inspiring. It's a glimpse into what humans can achieve when discipline and mindfulness work together. Luang Padang in a quiet temple in Thailand. The mummified body of Luang Padang continues to fascinate visitors and devotees alike. Decades after his death, the monk's body remains remarkably preserved, seated in a meditative posture. His peaceful expression and serene pose make it seem as though he is simply lost in deep meditation. Unlike other mummies, his body was not preserved using chemicals or special techniques. Nature seems to have taken care of it. Luang Padang was a highly respected monk during his lifetime. Known for his wisdom and spiritual dedication, he inspired countless followers. After his passing in 1973, his body was placed in a glass case at Wat Kunaram Temple, where it remains on display. What's remarkable is that, despite the passage of time, his skin and features are still intact, with minimal signs of decay. This has led to both scientific and spiritual curiosity. For devotees, Luang Por Dung's preserved body is a sign of his spiritual power. They believe his life of meditation, discipline, and simplicity left his body in harmony with nature, allowing it to remain untouched by time. Others suggest that his vegetarian diet and rigorous lifestyle might have played a role in the preservation. Scientists, too, are intrigued, wondering if the warm, dry climate of the region might have contributed, but the mystery adds to his aura. Was it his spiritual practices that allowed his body to remain as it is, or is there something mystical at play? For many, the answer doesn't matter. Luang Por Dung continues to inspire faith and reflection. Visitors to the temple often leave with a sense of peace, as if his legacy is still alive, reminding everyone of the power of a disciplined and spiritual life. In a remarkable discovery in Mongolia, 200-year-old mummified monk was found in what appears to be a deep meditative state, sitting cross-legged with his hands in the Dhyana Mudra, a gesture associated with meditation. The monk looks as though he is simply lost in a timeless moment of stillness. This finding has left scientists, spiritual seekers, and curious onlookers alike asking profound questions. Experts believe the monk might have been practicing tukdom, a state described in Tibetan Buddhism as existing between life and death. In tukdom, a monk uses deep meditation to separate the mind from the body, entering a state where bodily functions slow down drastically. Some even say the consciousness lingers in the suspended state, hovering between physical existence and transcendence. For practitioners, tukdom is seen as the ultimate mastery of life, a step closer to enlightenment. The discovery has sparked interest among scientists as well. How could a body survive for centuries with such minimal decay? Researchers speculate that the extreme cold in Mongolia may have helped with preservation. However, others are exploring whether the monk's intense meditation, lifestyle, and perhaps even diet created conditions that slowed the aging and decomposition processes. For spiritual communities, this discovery reinforces the idea that meditation is not just a practice of the mind, but has tangible effects on the body as well. It suggests that a disciplined life focused on mindfulness and inner peace can unlock incredible human potential. For scientists, it raises fascinating questions about biology, aging, and the boundaries of human endurance. 200-year-old mummified monk stands as a testament to the mysteries of life and consciousness, bridging the gap between ancient spiritual wisdom and modern scientific curiosity. His presence continues to inspire awe and reflection worldwide. Lu Quan, the discovery of Lu Quan's mummified remains inside a Buddha statue is one of the most extraordinary archaeological findings in recent history. In 2015, researchers examining a 1,000-year-old statue using CT scans found something astonishing. A perfectly preserved mummified monk, seated in the lotus position. The monk was identified as Lu Quan, a Buddhist master believed to have practiced self-mummification, an ancient and extreme spiritual discipline. Self-mummification was not a simple or easy process. Monks like Lu Quan followed a strict regime of fasting, meditation, and gradual dehydration. Over many years, they reduced their food intake, consuming only nuts, seeds, and bark. This slow diet change was designed to eliminate fat and muscle, which would otherwise decay after death. Monks also drank a special tea made from toxic tree sap to prevent bacteria from growing in their bodies. Toward the end of the process, the monk would be sealed inside a small chamber, alive, where they would meditate until death. The body would naturally mummify due to the lack of moisture and the preparation beforehand. What makes Lu Quan's story even more fascinating is the discovery of cryptic symbols and inscriptions found alongside his remains. These markings, etched into the statue, are believed to hold esoteric spiritual significance. Some experts suggest they were part of a secret knowledge passed down within specific Buddhist sects, perhaps offering clues about meditation techniques or teachings on enlightenment. Lu Quan's preserved state inside the statue speaks of immense dedication to spiritual goals, as well as a deep understanding of the body and mind. His story is both inspiring and mysterious, blending devotion, ancient rituals, and the hidden wisdom of a bygone era. Even today, Lu Quan remains a symbol of human perseverance and the quest for transcendence. Honen was a remarkable Buddhist monk who transformed the spiritual landscape of Japan. Born in 1133, he spent much of his early life studying complex Buddhist teachings, but over time he realized that these rigorous practices were too difficult for most people. Honen wanted to find a way to make enlightenment accessible to everyone, not just monks or scholars. This desire led him to the Pure Land teachings, where salvation was achieved through faith in Amida Buddha. Honen's key practice was simple yet revolutionary. Instead of spending years mastering meditation or memorizing texts, he encouraged people to focus on chanting a single phrase, Namo Amida Butsu, which means, I take refuge in Amida Buddha. He believed that by sincerely chanting this phrase, anyone could be reborn in the Pure Land, a paradise where enlightenment was easier to attain. This was a radical shift. It made salvation based on faith rather than effort, opening the door for ordinary farmers, merchants, and even outcasts to find spiritual hope. Honen's teachings resonated deeply. At a time when Buddhism often felt exclusive, he made it accessible to everyone. His emphasis on faith over complex rituals democratized spirituality and gave people a direct, personal connection to the divine. This approach also softened the strict barriers between social classes. In spiritual practice, he founded the Pure Land School of Buddhism, which remains one of the most popular forms of Buddhism in Japan today. His focus on simplicity and compassion continues to inspire millions. Honen showed that spirituality doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as calling out with a sincere heart, trusting in the boundless compassion of Amida Buddha. His teachings remain a testament to the power of faith and inclusivity. Mappa Latsua, known as the Great Translator, was a pivotal figure in Tibetan Buddhism. Born in Tibet in the 11th century, Mappa wasn't just a spiritual teacher, but also a bridge between two great cultures. His life was dedicated to bringing sacred Buddhist teachings from India to Tibet, ensuring they could flourish in his homeland. Mappa's journey was far from easy. Determined to learn directly from the Indian masters, he undertook treacherous trips across the Himalayas, journeys fraught with dangers like harsh weather, bandits, and immense physical exhaustion. He didn't just travel once. Mappa made multiple trips to India, each time bringing back precious texts and teachings. He spent years studying with legendary gurus like Naropa and Matripa, mastering complex practices and philosophies. Returning to Tibet, he didn't just translate texts, he imbued them with the deep understanding gained from his own experiences. One of Mappa's most remarkable contributions was his mentorship of Milarepa, one of Tibet's greatest yogis and poets. Their relationship was transformative, though it began under harsh circumstances. Mappa put Milarepa through rigorous trials, demanding he build and rebuild stone towers under grueling conditions. While this seemed cruel, it was a method to purify Milarepa's karma from his earlier misdeeds. Over time, Milarepa's determination and faith won Mappa's approval, and he was initiated into profound spiritual teachings. This mentorship transformed Milarepa into an enlightened being. Mappa's life is one of dedication and perseverance. His tireless efforts preserved and enriched Tibetan Buddhism, and his guidance of Milarepa exemplifies the transformative power of a true teacher. Mappa's story reminds us that great achievements often come through great trials, and that the right teacher can illuminate even the darkest paths. Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna, a revered Indian mystic and saint of the 19th century, lived a life filled with profound spiritual experiences. Born in a small village near Kolkata, he became a devoted priest at the Dakshineswar Kali temple. Ramakrishna's life was centered around an intense and childlike devotion to the goddess Kali, whom he worshipped not as an abstract deity but as a living, loving mother. He would often fall into deep states of meditation, losing awareness of the world around him as he felt immersed in divine love. What made Ramakrishna truly unique was his openness to other spiritual paths. He didn't confine himself to Hindu traditions. He practiced Christianity, contemplating Christ with deep reverence, and explored Islam, experiencing a sense of unity with Allah. In each path, Ramakrishna reached the same realization: the divine is one, though it may be called by different names. This led to his profound teaching of Sarva-dharma Sambhava, the idea that all religions lead to the same truth and deserve equal respect. His teachings inspired his chief disciple Swami Vivekananda, who founded the Ramakrishna Mission. This organization is known globally for its humanitarian work and interfaith dialogue. Hospitals, schools, and disaster relief efforts form just part of its mission to serve humanity. Selflessly, the Ramakrishna Mission also promotes spiritual harmony, spreading Ramakrishna's message that the essence of all religions is love and service. His life reminds us that spirituality transcends labels and that true devotion sees unity, not division. Sri Ramakrishna continues to inspire people of all faiths, showing that the path to the divine is open to anyone with a sincere heart. Empty Cloud Shuyan, also known as Empty Cloud, is one of the most remarkable figures in Buddhist history. Born in China in 1840, he lived an extraordinary life spanning well over a century, passing away in 1959. His life was a testament to the transformative power of meditation and faith. Shuyan dedicated himself to deep meditation practices from a young age, earning a reputation for his incredible spiritual discipline and wisdom. It is said that his meditative prowess allowed him to experience profound states of enlightenment, which inspired countless others on their spiritual paths. Shuyan's life was not without challenges. He lived during a time of great political upheaval in China, facing wars, invasions, and cultural changes. Despite these difficulties, he remained steadfast in his mission to preserve Buddhism. He spearheaded efforts to restore many ancient monasteries that had fallen into disrepair due to neglect and conflict. Among his greatest achievements was the rebuilding of the historic Yunmen Monastery, which became a vital center for Buddhist teaching and practice. Shuyan emphasized Chan Buddhism, a tradition rooted in direct experience rather than intellectual study. He taught that enlightenment comes through disciplined meditation and mindfulness, often using simple yet profound teachings to help his students cut through confusion and see the truth directly. His compassionate and humble approach attracted disciples from all walks of life. Shuyan lives on in the global practice of Chan Buddhism, known as Zen in Japan. His teachings remind us of the power of perseverance, even in the face of adversity. Through his life, Shuyan showed that the path to awakening is not just for the few, but for anyone willing to seek it with sincerity and dedication. The father of Zen Buddhism, Bodhidharma, often regarded as the father of Zen Buddhism, is a legendary figure whose journey to China marked a turning point in the history of Buddhism. Born in India, Bodhidharma set out on a mission to spread the teachings of meditation and direct experience of enlightenment. According to tradition, he traveled to China in the 6th century to share the deep wisdom of Zen, a branch of Buddhism that focuses on meditation as the key to spiritual awakening. One of the most famous aspects of Bodhidharma's story is his 9-year wall-gazing meditation. It's said that after arriving in China, he withdrew to a cave and meditated, facing a wall for 9 years. This intense practice became a symbol of Zen's commitment to self-discipline and direct experience. In Zen philosophy, meditation is not just about quieting the mind, but also about transcending the limits of ordinary thinking to directly experience reality. Bodhidharma's dedication to this practice inspired countless Zen practitioners to follow his example of perseverance and deep focus. Interestingly, Bodhidharma is also believed to have played an unexpected role in the development of Shaolin Kung Fu. The monks at the Shaolin Temple, known for their martial arts skills, sought Bodhidharma's teachings to improve their physical health and mental focus. In response, Bodhidharma is said to have developed a series of physical exercises to help them build strength and discipline, blending physical training with spiritual practice. This fusion of spirituality and physicality became a hallmark of Zen practice, illustrating the connection between mind and body. Bodhidharma's teachings continue to influence Zen Buddhism, inspiring practitioners to meditate deeply, live mindfully, and embrace the unity of body and spirit. His legacy is one of simplicity, directness, and profound wisdom. Gyalwa Karmapa. The Gyalwa Karmapa is one of the most revered spiritual leaders in Tibetan Buddhism, known for leading the Karma Kagyu lineage. This lineage is unique in that its leaders are believed to be reincarnated, with each new Karmapa carrying on the wisdom and spiritual guidance of their predecessors. The process of identifying the next Karmapa involves mystical rituals where high-ranking lamas search for signs and omens that point to the rebirth of the previous Karmapa. This practice ensures the continuity of spiritual teachings, as the new Karmapa is believed to carry the essence of the former one. One of the most famous aspects of the Karmapa tradition is the black hat ceremony. The Karmapa wears a black hat, which is said to have mystical origins, with legends suggesting that it came from celestial beings. According to these legends, the hat was a gift from the Buddha, symbolizing the profound wisdom and spiritual power that the Karmapa embodies. The black hat ceremony is not just a ritual, it's a moment of deep spiritual significance for practitioners, representing the connection between the earthly and the divine. The current Karmapa, Ojin Trinley Dorje, plays a significant role in the modern world while still honoring ancient traditions, while upholding the deep practices of Tibetan Buddhism. The current Karmapa addresses contemporary issues, such as environmental concerns, education, and global peace. He uses his platform to promote interfaith dialogue, urging people to embrace compassion, mindfulness, and respect for all living beings. By combining ancient wisdom with modern relevance, the Karmapa continues to inspire people all over the world, offering timeless teachings for today's challenges. The living Buddha Lama. Tenzin Sangha is known as a living Buddha because of his incredible devotion to his village and his spiritual sacrifice. In life, he was a deeply respected monk who dedicated himself to serving his community, helping others find peace through his teachings. But what makes his story truly remarkable is the way he chose to sacrifice himself for the well-being of the people he cared for. Lama Tenzin Sangha decided to meditate in a state of deep concentration, never to awaken again, to protect his village from an impending disaster. His body was naturally mummified over time, preserving him in a way that amazed everyone who learned of his devotion. His story took another unexpected turn many years later. A powerful earthquake struck the region, and during the destruction, his tomb was unearthed. When the villagers found his body, it was in an extraordinary state of preservation, just as it had been when he passed away. His remains were not just a physical body, but a powerful symbol of his sacrifice and spiritual strength. The villagers saw it as a sign of his continued presence and influence. They began to revere him even more, viewing him as a living spirit who was still watching over them and guiding their lives. The story of Lama Tenzin Sangha carries deep spiritual significance. It speaks of devotion, selfless sacrifice, and the mystical power attributed to his remains. To the villagers, his preserved body is not just a relic of the past, but a powerful reminder of the connection between the physical and the spiritual realms. His story continues to inspire those who believe in the transformative power of devotion and the lasting impact of selfless acts. Saint Anthony the Great is known as the father of Christian monasticism because of his role in shaping the early Christian tradition of living a life devoted to prayer, solitude, and asceticism. Born in Egypt around 251 AD, Anthony grew up in a wealthy family, but chose to give up everything in pursuit of a deeper spiritual life. At a young age, he retreated into the Egyptian desert to live alone, seeking to free himself from worldly distractions. His decision to leave behind his comfort and wealth was the beginning of his legendary journey. During his time in the desert, Anthony faced tremendous spiritual battles. According to legend, he was often confronted by demons who tried to tempt and distract him from his goal of spiritual purity. These demonic encounters were so intense that they became part of the stories surrounding his life. In some accounts, the demons appeared in the form of terrifying creatures or even tried to manipulate his mind. Yet Anthony stood firm in his faith, using prayer and meditation to overcome these challenges. His victory over the demons symbolized his commitment to spiritual discipline and his desire to grow closer to God. Saint Anthony's way of life had a profound influence on Christianity. His ascetic lifestyle, focused on simplicity, self-denial, and prayer, inspired many others to follow his example. His retreat into the desert became the model for early Christian monks who sought to live in isolation and devote themselves entirely to God. Through his dedication, Saint Anthony helped lay the foundation for Christian monasticism, a tradition that continues to thrive in various forms. Today, his story teaches us the power of inner strength, spiritual commitment, and the rewards of living a life focused on faith. And that's a wrap on our journey into the mysterious world of monks and their incredible stories. If you found these stories fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing content, and share your thoughts in the comments below.